Street Journal recently published a truly bonkers piece that we have to get into. But first, let's look at this headline and the framing of this headline because it really blew me away. So it's Wall Street bonuses powered New York's economy in 2024. Some worry they peaked. Average annual payout jumped 31% to $244,700.
Ana Kasparian from the Young Turks is at it again, whining and crying about how capitalism is broken. This time, she's melting down over New York's economy being tied to Wall Street bonuses, calling it broken capitalism, and pushing for wealth redistribution while blaming inequality on who else? Donald Trump. Yep, apparently it's not Biden's disaster economy, it's Trump's tariffs that are the problem. So strap in because, once again, the woke media elites are proving they have no clue how the real world works. Let's get into it.
Okay, does anyone see what's wrong with that? Wall Street bonuses powered New York's economy? Wall Street bonuses. Doesn't that mean that there's something fundamentally broken with the economy when the bonuses that Wall Street people are getting is what's powering the freaking economy in New York? That's crazy. Maybe I'm overreacting. What do you think, Kate?
No, that was my immediate thought. If that's true, what are we doing? Like, we need to change something, because if an extra $250K that someone who's already worth $5 million gets at the end of the year is powering the economy, then something's wrong.
Yeah, there's totally something. What should be powering the economy is the working class. You're supposed to have enough disposable income. You know, you're working hard. You're putting 40 hours in a week. Let's keep it real. Most Americans are not just working 40 hours a week. A lot of Americans are working a lot more than that per week. But this idea that ordinary workers who aren't getting, nearly $250,000 in a bonus are unable to power the economy, that means there's something fundamentally broken. That means that workers are not making enough money to be able to go out there and stimulate the economy. So look, there's a lot to unpack, but first let's note that in 2023, the median annual wage for all US workers was $48,060. And that's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So obviously the median, wage earner in this country throughout the whole year isn't making anything close to what, Wall Street folks are getting paid in bonuses. Okay, $244,700. That's crazy. And so the numbers get crazier. Last year's bonus pool among financial firms totaled $47.5 billion, a record high. These are just bonuses, folks. This isn't salaries. It's not stock options. It's nothing else having to do with their compensation package. And as the Wall Street Journal explains, these bonuses are a sizable chunk of New York's economy. So let's get into the details of that. Wall Street has an outsized impact on New York, accounting for nearly 20% of the city's total economic activity. The higher bonuses will bring in $600 million more in revenue from state income tax and $275 million more for the city than a year earlier.
These liberals, they're really something else. It's, oh no, the system is broken. The rich Wall Street investors, the ones who pay massive taxes, it turns out their money is what stimulates New York's economy, not the average working taxpayer. Quick, someone alert AOC. This is a tragedy. You see how they frame it? They don't say Wall Street bonuses helped generate billions in tax revenue. No, they say it proves capitalism is broken. Give me a break. When people earn money, even a lot of it, that's not a flaw in the system. That is the system. If a $250,000 bonus from someone who already made $5 million is powering the economy, you know what that means? It means their success is helping to fund the system everyone benefits from. The real problem, the working class has been crushed, but not by Wall Street, by Biden's inflation and leftist policies that killed small businesses and jobs. Wall Street bonuses aren't the issue. They're a symptom of where the economic power ended up after years of Democrat mismanagement. Let's be honest. If these same media hosts, Ana Kasparian or whoever this other girl is, got a $244,000 bonus, they wouldn't be on air crying about it, crying about inequality. They'd be in the Hamptons or partying, sipping Chardonnay and calling it self-care. I mean, the median wage in America is $48,000. Why? Because the Democrats keep flooding the labor market with cheap illegal labor, crushing energy jobs and raising taxes on small businesses. That's not Wall Street's fault. And let's not pretend those bonuses just vanish into thin air. They get taxed heavily, then spent, invested, and circulated back through the economy. If you want to power the economy, let people succeed. Don't punish them for it. And Wall Street's outsized impact on New York. It's responsible for nearly 20% of the city's total economic activity. That's not some evil conspiracy. That's a result of New York's own policies that chased away every other industry. If you want to change that, maybe stop shutting down mom and pop stores over nonsense regulations. Maybe stop driving job creators out with sky-high taxes and woke mandates. And yeah, let's not forget the government loves those bonus tax dollars, but the same libs crying about inequality, they're cashing their own fat checks from media conglomerates owned by, you guessed it, Wall Street investors.
So the argument that they're making is, look, bonuses get taxed, and bonuses get taxed a little more than your regular pay. And so that's what they're referring to. Like, oh, I mean, it's helping to fund the government. Although there are all sorts of super, super rich people living in New York who get to take advantage of all sorts of, deductions that were specifically implemented to benefit the rich. Maybe we do away with some of those deductions. Because I feel like percentage-wise, the tax burden tends to be a lot heavier for wage earners, ordinary workers, as opposed to the wealthiest among us, who might make most of their income through capital gains, for instance, which is taxed much lower than income that you make through, working. But Kate, you used to live in New York. Talk to me a little bit about how things are run. Like when you were living in New York, did you get a sense of like this haves and have-nots situation, or do you think this is like a relatively new phenomenon?
No, I don't think it's new. I mean, and I never lived in New York City, but I did live right outside, and I definitely saw the Wall Street culture. There's definitely a have and have-not culture in New York, and they think that they're the center of the universe throughout the entire state of New York. And I mean, I get it. They're the financial hub of the state, but they look down on everybody else. I find it I get that the bonuses bring in tax revenue. I get that argument. I'm very unmoved by it.
Yes.
It's really
Same.
hard to care that people, and I know this is an oversimplification, but like people that are pushing money around from one account to the other are getting slightly less on top of their gigantic salary, and I'm supposed to be upset about it.
Okay, so that's the other thing about this piece, because it's a piece about like, poor Wall Street folks. They might not get massive bonuses like this in the future. Okay, so that's the whole point. Like poor little victims. So it apparently doesn't seem like Wall Street will be getting such big bonuses this year, and it's probably because of market uncertainty spurred by Donald Trump's incoherent like tariff policy and all of that. And here's another factor: would-be merger.
Wall Street thinks it's the center of the universe. Newsflash, they kind of are. At least economically. You don't get to enjoy the tax revenue, business activity, and investments that come out of Wall Street and then turn around and play the victim. The whole haves and have-nots game is tired. This isn't about jealousy, it's about productivity. If you want more, do more, build more, create more. The left doesn't hate Wall Street just because they're rich. They hate them because they're independent of government handouts. These are people who understand risk, move capital, and fund innovation. We need to focus on real problems like inflation, the open border, and the weaponized IRS under Biden. But no, they still want to blame Trump. Bonuses are smaller and it's somehow Trump's fault now. That's the Trump derangement syndrome talking. Biden's been in office for over 4 years and they're still blaming Trump. Spoiler alert, it's not the tariffs, it's Biden's inflation, Biden's spending, Biden's anti-business policies. And let's not forget, under Trump, the economy was booming. Wages were up, taxes were down, and we weren't begging China for supplies. This entire clip is a masterclass leftist delusion. They hate the rich until they become the rich. They despise capitalism but can't survive without it. And they blame Trump for everything while ignoring the dumpster fire. That is the Biden regime. If you're sick of the hypocrisy, the whining, and the constant victim narrative, hit that button, subscribe to the channel so we can keep exposing the nonsense and share this with a fellow patriot who knows what real hard work looks like.